Hello, welcome to West Ham Grumble on Orange United with me, Alf Gasparo. Apologies, I've been away for a few weeks, but there hasn't been too much to grumble about in all fairness. And unfortunately, I'm feeling a bit under the weather, but I'm still bringing the show out just for you out there. So, what's been happening in the West Ham world? Well, we got a great result at the weekend against Arsenal. They had their opportunities, but we matched them. And if you lined up both teams together, our team is looking good. I think the future is great for us, especially when we get some of our other players back as well. We're going to have not only a strong team, but a strong squad as well. So it's looking great under Pellegrini, and I've got high hopes. Now, that's all a bit too positive, I know, for a Grumble show. So what am I going to talk about? Yes, there's only one thing really to talk about, and it's Arnautovic, isn't it? This whole saga, has been brought up by his brother and him. They wanted to move to China or God knows where else they want to go to. And, how much money we're going to get for him. Are these rumours that are coming out about... I don't want to spread rumours, but there's something going on behind the scenes that he possibly needs money because of gambling or something. I don't know if that's true or not, so, don't quote me on that. So I suppose I have to say allegedly, don't I? Right, anyway, so, but, that's by the by. Basically, he wants to leave, and, it's all about getting cups and titles in China. Really. No, it's about money, let's face it. Now, do I begrudge him wanting to leave West Ham to go and, double his salary and stuff like that? No, I don't, actually. But what I do begrudge is the whole, I love West Ham, they are my people type thing. Then all of a sudden, first sign of a sniff of extra money, that's it, he's off. And I think it's not about Arnautovic, my grumble. It's about football players in general. Where's the loyalty? Where's the passion for your club? I know at some level it's there. And Arnautovic showed it as soon as he came. Well, within a few weeks, and that's what endeared him to us as fans. And all the kids, you'd ask them, "Who's your favourite player?" And before it was Lanzini, then Arnautovic started doing great stuff, and it's all Arnautovic. He got Hammer of the Year. I mean, it was all him to be a West Ham god, really, isn't it? But he's going to throw all that away for extra money. And it's all this kind of kissing the badge and thumping of the chest and, oh, my heart is with West Ham. Again, he probably meant it, but I'm just over it. I'm just over that whole, players trying to pull the wool over my eyes and trying to convince me that they feel as passionate about our club or any club that a player plays for as the fans do. So that's my gripe, really. If he wants to go, let him go. But West Ham, as a club, we've got to be smart about this. There's no point in letting him go off, for 35, 40 million pound when they have to also pay off Stoke, remember. Now, I can't remember how much it is. It could be 10, 20% or something of the sell-on fee they have to pay back to Stoke. So, there's still a lot of money to be played here. So they've got to sell him for 50, 60 million just to make any decent amount of money on him. But it's not only that. It's about actually how much is it going to cost to get a player in who's just as good as Arnautovic or who is just as effective as Arnautovic in that forward line. Because essentially, that's where our big weakness is right now. Yes, we have weaknesses in defence, of course, I know that. But, with Balbuena and Diop, when Balbuena comes back, of course, we've got a cracking partnership there. I've been great, been hugely impressed with Creswell since he's sort of come back into the fold. And, I think he's been stellar at the left-back role. Zabaleta, for me, you all know I'm a big fan of Zabaleta as well. But, obviously, Zapaleta's getting older and, we've got to see Fredericks, can he really cut the mustard? We've got to have an able replacement for Creswell. Yes, Masuaku's there, but shaky at the back. As we develop, we're building a really strong squad. So it's up front. Can we really rely on Hernandez, Carroll, Perez, you know my thoughts about Perez. I'm not a great fan. You know, I don't want to single out the chap, but it hasn't really worked. You know, so we've got to find somebody who's going to come in now. You know, I was saying earlier in this week, you know, the highs that we can hopefully achieve this season, looking at the table now and the point spread and everything between us and Man United is, you know, there's a lot of points there to make up ground. So I think the highest we're going to get is 7th. And that's if we, you know, if all goes well for us. So that being the case, if we're just about going to scrape into Europe, if we can, should we really go and spend, you know, 40, 50 million on a striker now? Or should we just hold firm and, you know, go with what we've got, possibly get a loan striker in? But let's face it, loan strikers don't always work, you know, and January transfers, I'm not a fan of January transfer windows, full stop. You know, I think, you know, it's feeding into the, you know, to the hype, it's feeding into the, you know, the clubs are getting, you know, they need to find somebody really quickly. Oh, okay, we're going to charge you an extra 20 or 30% because you're really desperate for a player. You know, it feeds into that desperation that a club, and also that the fans need, you know, to boost the season. So, yeah, I'm not a great fan of it. I think, you know, whatever business we go and do in January, I think it's going to be, relatively speaking, bad business. So I think our only option is don't buy a player. Actually, if anything, get a loan player. But who'd you get? Who'd you get who's going to have the same impact as an Arnautovic? And I tell you what, I don't think there is one out there. I don't think there is somebody out there who's going to have that same impact. You know, so, you know, and a good striker, good Premier League striker is a 60, 70 million pound striker. Unless you're developing somebody from young up and they, after 2 or 3 years, they suddenly become great. You know, they come out of the academy. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's what Pellegrini needs to do. Go with what he's got and actually bring on, you know, Diangana and Silva a little bit more, you know, and inject them in and see if we can blood them in a little bit more. Anyway, look, this has been my West Ham Grumble. I'm a huge fan of Arnautovic. I'm hugely disappointed that, you know, he's decided that he wants to go. I wish him well, but I just don't. I'm just fed up with the whole player loving the shirt, loving the badge, and then all of a sudden, you know, turns on his heels and off he goes. I don't blame him, to be fair. But I don't buy this whole going to China, you know, just to buy cups and everything, or win cups. If you want to win titles, if you want the prestige, there's only one place that you're going to play. And that's, well, I don't want to say Premier League, but I want to say Europe, you know, and it's got to be in the top European leagues. Yeah, that, you know, that might be a bit condescending towards other leagues around the world, you know, but it is what it is. You know, the Premier League is the most watched league in the world for a reason. It's the most entertaining. It's the one that, you know, fans around the world go to. Spain, yeah, there's only 2 or 3 teams in Spain, let's face it. The rest are pretty crappy. You know, Italy, well, there's only, again, 2 or 3 teams, and they got really slow. And Arnautovic also has played in Italy, let's not forget it. You know, it didn't work out too well for them there. So, you know, do you know what? Off you go, son. Let's get somebody else in. Let's not, you know, destroy the dressing room just by you being there. But if he stays, then I expect him to be 100%. I don't want to see all this, you know, kissing the badge and my heart is still with the club. Bollocks. No, you stay in because nobody wants to take you. That's it. In the summer, then you can go. Harsh, but fair. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Anyway, this has been my West Ham Grumble. Oh. Anyway, catch out my next show, my new show coming out. It's called the West Ham Oi Oi. And it's a bit more of a chirpy one. Catch you on then. Cheers.